So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So I don't like long intros. I like to jump straight in. And I figured instead of me telling everyone who Bracha Jaffe is, why don't you tell everyone who Bracha Jaffe is? And I guess let's start at the beginning until today. And I'll probably interrupt you and ask you stuff along the way, if that's okay.
Sure. So Bracha Jaffe is American-born, Israeli-bred. I like to say that way. I was born in the U.S., but
Okay.
my parents, I was raised in a very Israeli home. My mother is Israeli Yerushalmi, and my father was raised in Israel from the age of 4.
Wow.
So Hebrew was my first language. And
Even in America, Hebrew is your first
yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes. I have 2 brothers. I grew up in Brooklyn, born in Maimonides. I, went to school in Brooklyn and then went to college in Long Island, Garden City. After 2 years in Toronto, transferred over, became a nurse practitioner. I always loved to sing, play piano. Art was like a big thing for me, the arts in general. Painting, piano, singing.
Are your parents musical?
Dancing, yeah.
Okay.
My father's a Baal Tefillah, and he plays the trumpet.
No way.
Yeah, very
That's cool.
talented, yeah.
Professionally or like as a hobby?
It's funny. He says that he used to stick himself in wedding bands, sit in a few times, or he says he says it's more of a hobby, but I don't know if a hobby constitutes of 4 hours of practice a day. He put the trumpet down for quite a few years in his life, but at this point in his life, he's really full force, and it's just a huge love of his. And
That's
he's
amazing.
a beautiful
Okay.
Baal Tefillah, yeah.
So you grew up hearing some trumpet and some great Shoulder Avenue.
And my mother is musical. She always just had the musical, touch. She played the accordion.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was her bat mitzvah present from her parents. And she always knew how to play piano, and she just loved singing, and they always just very much encouraged it in my life. My brother plays guitar. He's a very talented guitar player. And my other brother is chazan.
All right, multi-generational.
Yeah,
Love
so
it.
it's definitely a musical family.
Did you guys used to play together as kids?
Not as much as I would have wanted to.
All right.
My family dynamic was, interesting. My parents got divorced when I was 5 years old.
Okay.
And my brothers were much older than me. But it was an 8 to 9 year gap between me and my brothers. So when I was getting old enough to play and sort of jam already, they were out in yeshiva, and they both got married between 12 and 13 for me.
Okay.
So I didn't have as much opportunities, but there were some. I took piano from age 5. I always wanted to sing and be in choirs. I auditioned for choirs when I was very young. Didn't get into a few, and then got into one. And then the one I got into was Voices of Youth, run by Malki Ginniger. And she was a huge role model for me growing up as a child. As a singer, someone who pursued her talent and her dream, she was very motivating for me to use my talent and pursue it. And she encouraged me greatly as a young girl and as a teenager. And so she was the person who really, really brought that out in me.
That was going to be one of my questions. As a young Orthodox female, as a young girl, you're not really going to be looking at music or singing as something that you're going to have a future in, right? It wasn't really
So it's funny because my parents were very encouraging of me pursuing my hobby, and they even allowed me to push it more than a hobby. They made room for me to teach, to take small gigs on as a young girl. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, my father was very, very adamant of me having a career as well. So it wasn't they said, no, it's not something that you can do. But it was definitely pursue it and also have something else.
It wasn't from a Jewish or a religious point of view. It was just we know what it is. I guess he's been involved in the music industry, and it's maybe you should get something stable as well.
Exactly. It was more of that. You should have something that you can really depend on that will always be there for you. So that's where nursing came into the picture for me, and that was in high school. That was the decision I made in high school, even though Malki was a very big voice in my head, and she said, you don't need to pursue nursing. And she did tell me that from a very young age. And I always thought she was nuts.
Right. Why do you think she was nuts?
So I guess from part of what you said, that number one, having stability in your career and being able to support a family just from that perspective. And then also as a frum girl, and being able to support a family. I knew I had
Right.
limitations even more. So having enough opportunities to pursue music as my main, my main gig, my main thing, was just something that like didn't even seem like a real possibility, even though she was doing it at the time.
Right.
And I just didn't think there was enough room for me to do it as well. There wasn't this global movement. There wasn't social media at the time yet. When she was telling me this, there was so much less available to me. So her saying that to me, I'm saying I guess she had nevuah,
Right.
was just insanity. I was like, no, I have to pursue a career. I need to listen to my parents
Right.
as well, even though they loved my music and supported me. And my father took me to studios, and I recorded in what is that studio in Brooklyn, the most popular one at the time? It was where all like the big singers were singing at the time, and I had a dream, the Jewish singers, Free and MBD,
okay.
and I wanted to sing there. And he took me for 10 hours, one whole
Wow.
night.
I guess parents ultimately they're looking out for you, and when you're passionate about something, you kind of see that as, well, why would I make a B plan for something if I know what the A plan is, and I want to, it's like if I make, an option for me to fail rather than saying this is it, this is what I'm going to do, but parents don't see it like that. They see a child who they want to make sure has stability down the line. So it's like a hard balance.
100%. But I'm actually very grateful for them telling me to do that. It was the A plan for a very long time.
Right.
Me being a nurse. It also developed me as just a human. The way I think and the way I, see people, value people, and just that perspective as a nurse has really, really molded me.
Okay, so today are you a full-time nurse as well?
I put a pause on the career for now. And it's a pause because I really feel like it's still a big part of me and not something that I can leave completely.
Sure.
And I think there's a way that I will find to revisit it at some point in my life when the time is right. But right now I know that it's my time to pursue music and singing full time.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was going to ask. I know at one point you were a full-time mum, and you were a full-time nurse, and you have a full-time singing career.
Yeah.
Even when you take one of those away, so let's just say nursing isn't full-time now, being a full-time mum and having a full-time singing career, you have 5 kids, right?
I have 5 kids, yeah, kind of.
How do you do that?
First of all, it took me a long time to mentally catch up that I had 3 full-time careers.
I thought you were going to say that you had 5 full-time kids.
That
Okay.
too. It took me time to see that, like, Bracha, you're drowning,
Right.
And something has to give because it's giving in unhealthy ways. So it did take me time to recognize that.
Sure.
And so how did I balance it? I have an amazing support system and help, but it doesn't negate the fact that I'm still a full-time mother. To me, that's the number one priority always.
Sure.
And it's hard. There are times where it feels like I have everything going for me and I'm on top of the world and I am so grateful for my life. And then there are days that I feel like, oh my gosh, Bracha, you have so much on your plate. How are you going to make it through the day? But I think we all go through that as humans. And
Right.
my biggest motivation to myself is when it feels overwhelming, it's like all you have to do is put one foot in front of the next and one thing at a time, and you'll get through it. That's been my biggest piece of advice to myself, just to really, 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 really take it slowly whenever it gets too difficult or too much.
Like, put one of the careers on hold for a little bit.
Yeah, or it's just a constant juggle. It's like, okay, now I'm on the phone, with Mendy Portnoy now, and my kid is screaming, okay, I gotta go, Mendy, and I need to go be a mother. Or, I have a full day in the studio tomorrow, and then rehearsals at night, but I need to get home at 5 o'clock and shut off for 2 hours to do dinner and bedtime and be a mommy.
Right.
And then when the day feels like a long day and it feels impossible, it's just like, let's just get through one thing first and see how it goes.
Right.
And we have to make changes sometimes and cancel things when it's not working.
We've had cancelled sessions.
Yeah, and it happens.
Yeah.
And the best thing, actually, the best piece of advice that my producer Shai Bachar told me is, in music, there's no emergencies.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah, it's not healthcare. No one's dying on your time.
Also, I'm not sure at this point how many thousands of songs get released every single day on Spotify. My song if it doesn't come out tomorrow, it comes out the week after, the world will, it's fine, it'll keep spinning. It'll be okay.
And it's important to, to respect like a schedule and a time frame. You actually said that to me, because that's the only way to get things done.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like when something doesn't happen exactly as planned, or when, or when you just need to allow yourself more time for it, it's okay. Like that's going to be fine. Kol hakavah tova. Every delay is for a good reason. And then also like even like in show business, like when you're on stage, like you mess up on stage, and that was the biggest piece of advice for me at that point. It's like I didn't hit the note properly, or I didn't sing it exactly like I wanted to. I didn't hurt anyone. I'm actually human.
Right.
I'm not pre-recorded. I'm not auto-tuned. I'm a person, and it makes me tangible. It makes me relatable, and nobody got hurt.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to remember that one. I like that.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the emergence of the religious female music scene, because I find it pretty amazing that like just that it exists. That if I were to tell people who didn't really know anything about the Jewish community, there's this kind of online almost music industry where at this point I don't know how many, 50 to 100 women, is it more than that, who have thousands of people following you guys, who are hungry for the content, want to listen. I think it's awesome. Tell me more about it.
So I started singing publicly and performing before social media was involved. For a good 10 plus years, even more, 15 years, I was performing professionally, and there was no social media. And so the only way that word got out about me singing was word of mouth. I did a good job for one person. It was a recommendation for the next thing, the next door that opened, and that's strictly the only way that I was able to perform and to advertise myself. In 2012, I did a show for an organization, for Ezer Mitzion, and it was in Muncie, and we had a matinee and a night show, and it wasn't a big audience, there wasn't a lot of room, but the first show, I think I performed for under 10 people. That's how many tickets we sold. Wow. Never did I think that a decade later, we would do a show that would sell out in 3 days for 3,000 people. And then the next year for 6,000.
Which one was that in the...
Fireworks, the first year. So
the one in the King's Theatre? Or?
In the Ritz.
That's crazy.
So 3,000 people.
So it's 3,000, also it's women. You're targeting specific women and girls in 3 days.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then the next year, 6,000. To double something in a year seems astronomical. And it wasn't even like a thought in my mind that would be something possible. So a few years ago, someone very close to me in the industry who ended up acting as my manager for quite a few years said to me, Bracha, you have a choice to make. She was producing me for organizations when I was just doing things word of mouth. And she said to me, you have a choice to make. You want to stay relevant? You have to get on social media. Because otherwise, that's the shift in the world. And as we know from the Lubavitcher Rebbe, he was the one who would tell his Hasidim that to utilize, everything has its good and its bad, and to utilize modern technology to benefit, spreading positivity and Torah and Yiddishkeit in this world. So I made a conscious decision with guidance to open up a social media account and also a website, a professional website, which needs updating.
So it's like everyone's website.
Yeah, exactly. But I think everyone's website these days is their social media account. So it became like something.
But it's one of those things that still like the rules are you still need a website to make sure you have one.
Yeah, I opened it up and I had a portfolio of over a decade of concerts and videos and things. So automatically I was able to start just retroactively posting things and showing things that I've done. And so my platform grew pretty quickly within the first year, to my surprise, and the growth also became global, recognition. And before I knew it, I was getting calls from across the world to perform. This is the way I feel, and it's coming from real honesty and real feeling. When I walk into a room with people, I do not think that people know my face, even though I have thousands of followers on Instagram. I'm like, nobody knows me. Because it's still something that I cannot grasp, that there are close to 1 million views on a music video.
Right.
And that's how many people are watching that.
Could you ever have imagined, even when you realized you were going to do this professionally at the very beginning and you were performing for bigger crowds and organizations and stuff, that like there would be a demand for, again, female concerts by females for females only?
Yeah.
Like, did you think this could happen?
I didn't, because like I was saying that, like, you know, years before we couldn't sell tickets. You know, a decade ago we couldn't sell tickets.
Right.
Women were just like, either the women were not coming out because they didn't want to come out, or or other women, you know, in different, depending on your community, they were going to movies in Broadway. No
Right.
one, it was very, and so it was very, like, it was not a thing to go to an all-female concert.
Right.
So today when we get into a crowd and I see girls from all different backgrounds and ages, like, I mean, like, me and Shandy got a video the other day of a girl who was born after the release of IA. So her mother wrote to us that it was her favorite song from as a newborn. That means, and we were getting emotional, and that means that girls are listening to us. It's part of their being. It's part of their essence. They're used to it. It's
Right.
something every day to them. They're
Part
listening.
of the soundtrack of their lives.
Yeah, that they're
Yeah.
listening to our music. That it's who they're listening to, and so.
Right.
To listen, you know, I grew up listening to, you know, from men, singers, and then a lot of other things, you know, in the realm of not Jewish music, and so I didn't really have, you know, female role models. There were a few, and putting out an album was so expensive.
Right.
I only had Malky, really, and so
Wow.
it was. And now it's like, oh my gosh, okay, wait, hold on. We should put it on an album because we are going to get thousands of views, and the song's going to get hundreds of views, thousands and thousands and thousands of views, hundreds of thousands
Right.
of views, and then it's going to be their soundtrack of their life, and then they're going to think, hey, let me listen to, you know, Shandy Plotzker or Chaya Kogan or Devorah Schwartz or Bracha Jaffe, and they're going to sing our songs.
At Thank You Hashem, we are also big believers, not just that women deserve the same platform as the men, but like it's something that is really needed, and there's a huge market and a crowd, and you know, at the end of the day, as you said, there's all these very well-known male performers who have been the big stars of the Jewish community for years, but why don't they have female stars? And I think that's why we felt it was so important to, you know, do an album like Nashim Tidkaniyot, also to show that if we are creating this stuff, it shouldn't be on any less of a level than the men's stuff.
About 2 years ago, when we got the call from Thank You Hashem to sing Never Alone, Shandy and I. Never Alone is one of our biggest releases. Elimelech and Aryeh were so excited about it. Like, the enthusiasm was, you felt it. I'm exhausted from trying to prove the worth of a female singer in today's world, in our generation. I made a decision that I'm not going to prove it anymore. I'm just going to be. But Elimelech and Aryeh didn't expect that at all. I didn't need to prove myself to them.
Right.
And they felt the value, and I felt it from
That's
them
amazing.
so strongly. And they gave us one of their best songs to sing. And they could have given it to any man, and it could have been heard by,
Right.
you know, the other 50%. But they gave it to us, and they didn't spare any expense.
Right.
Everything that we wanted, they said yes to, and they had complete belief. And to me, that was something that I will be eternally grateful for. And it's just, I don't have words to put on it. It's a young girl's dream.
Wow.
To really feel that sense of that someone believes in you, they trust you, that belonging, that place that you have is unique and special. And then when you called me and said, you know, you're willing to be on the album, and I like wanted to laugh in my head and be like, are you funny? I guess it's funny that you're asking me if I want to be. I
like to be polite, you know.
And then, you know, you gave me the honor to sing the title track. And just the other day I was at a private event with Akiva, and he said to me backstage right before he was performing, we exchanged a few words, and he said to me, בזכות נשים תתקני ותבוא אלינו הגאולה. I said, הוצאנו את השיר הזה לפני 6 חודשים, שנה, something like that. I said, we just released that song, בזכות נשים, about a year ago, and he said, please continue doing what you're doing. There's such a place in what you're doing. And so hearing it more and more from, the male artists, the male singers, from the platforms like Thank You Hashem, that really started, really expanded the platform for us. And I said this once to another singer in the industry, a male singer. I said, I got a call, could you post our song on your social media? I said, sure. Could you post about my concert tomorrow, because I'm still selling tickets? And there was a thing. I was like, do you have daughters? Do you have young girls? Right? Yeah. Do you believe in this for them? Yes. So then post it for us.
Right.
It's not that I need you to validate me, but your support and belief in the fact that there is 100% a place for us and for our girls in this generation to use their strengths, to dream, to use their talents, to use, all the colors that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us in this world, sure, our unique colors that make us individuals, and to create our own individual path. And, by you doing that, we're just supporting each other. That's the Ezer Kenegdo. That's what the Torah constantly speaks about when they speak about a woman. The Torah is in Lashon Nekeva. We are a glorified, incredible, respected being. And so he did. He advertised it the next day for me. That's who we are as Jewish people. We are a team. We are a family.
For sure. Just think about the whole experience of recording the album and hearing you express it like that is amazing. What is Jewish music?
Oh my gosh, I have so many things to answer. Hold on.
We've got time.
Mm-hmm. For me, it's my religion, and it's what brings me close to Yiddishkeit. It's what connects me to. I get so emotional thinking about about these different things that we're talking about, because it's what connects me to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's what connects me to my peers, to my family, sure, and it's what connects me to myself. And so every single message that's delivered in our music is a form of what I hope to be a connection that brings us closer to who we are, and connecting us to each other. There are different ways to give over Torah, and to give over how we're supposed to live our lives as Jewish people. And to me, music plays the strongest role in that way. The messages in the music, the lyrics, the nigunim. Sure. So I guess that would be my main answer.
Okay. So you're saying that Jewish music for you that's the medium that you use, I guess, mainly, that's how you connect to God, through Jewish music.
Yeah.
But if I were to talk more to on a more technical point of view, by the way, on that point of view, I completely am with you. In fact, if I'm davening, it's normally not in a shul. I normally go into my studio, I put on Chabad Nigunim, but it could be anything of that kind of nature, put my talis and tefillin on. I'm normally not saying the words from the Siddur because I don't understand most of them. I normally have my eyes closed and I'm singing and I feel God. And without music, I really struggle. I don't, and I guess everyone has their way of connecting. I also feel like it's kind of like a movie. If you go and watch a movie and there's no soundtrack, you might feel some emotion and you might feel some of the action, but imagine an action scene where there's just there's nothing.
Right.
In the same way that just in life in general, music and sound of music very much goes along with that. I feel that Jewish life and my Jewish connection is, I don't want to say entirely music, but it's definitely, there's a huge chunk of it. To look at the question from a more technical point of view, what makes Jewish music Jewish? Is it the person singing it? Is it the melody? Is it the genre?
People have different views and feelings about this.
That's exactly why I'm asking lots of people, and there is no correct answer. I'm collecting everyone's opinions and views. That's what this is. So you don't have to overthink your answer.
Right. Okay, fine. I don't think it's style and genre.
Okay.
I think that, different people need different styles and genres to, people like different things. So Jewish music could come in all different, forms because
Sure.
there's room for everyone to connect in a different way. I think that the messages of Yiddishkeit could be found in even, things that are sung by, people who aren't Jewish. However, my feeling for Jewish music itself, there's a combination between the message and the person writing it.
So it's kind of the intention almost.
For sure, intention
Right.
is a huge part of it. But as a Jewish person, so you're, and the message that you're delivering. Because as a Jewish person, you can also, deliver whatever message.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
There's
message you want.
look at half of the Broadway shows that are written, right? They're not written about Jewish themes,
Right.
but
And also, is there no room for us to listen to classical music?
Right.
Like written by Beethoven. I think there is room for us to listen to that. But for Jewish music specifically, I think it has to do with both the person and the message combined.
okay, so it's the person and the message. Really.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I might change my mind at some point in my life.
Well, you're gonna have to do it. You'll have to do another podcast if you do.
But
You're not allowed to change your stance without telling me. No,
but for now, I think that's my feeling. Yeah.
if you could give one piece of advice to 10-year-old Bracha Jaffe or any young Jewish girl who, I guess is growing up in a world that's very different to yours because they already have, some form of, you had a role model, but they have a lot more, and they have music videos, but what would you, for someone who's aspiring to become a religious female artist in today's world, what would you advise them?
To a young girl who wants to use her strengths and talents in today's world, and has any doubt or is worried or scared, I would say to her, you were created a certain way. Extra special. Every person. Wow, I don't know why I'm getting emotional again.
Can I ask you what this is? Like, what's this bringing up when you're thinking about it?
I guess because you said, what would you say to yourself when you're 10 years old? Sorry. So, yeah, I guess that's it. Like, what? It's a surreal feeling to say something that you wanted to say yourself, like,
Right.
over 25 years ago, Sorry, 1 second. I've been doing a lot of it brings out a lot of emotion because over the last year I've been doing a lot of soul searching in a way that just to really give the message I want to give over in my music. So taking a second to say what I would say to myself is also diving into all that work that I've been doing.
Sure.
So God created us in a very unique way. Every single one of you. I say to my children, I'm so lucky. You know the song, Hashem gave me a present? Do you know what it was? So I sing that to them, and then I talk about their unique
Personalize
specials.
it for them.
Yeah,
Right.
special things. And he gave me a present, and you know what he gave me, and then I say their names. And I would say that to every girl. Hashem gave you a present, and with that present, he wants you to change the world. And there is 100% room for you. So you're going to encounter a fork in the road many times. It's going to keep branching off. Think of a tree with all those beautiful branches. And every tree and every branch will grow beautiful leaves. And you'll go down these different paths. And you will discover yourself, and it will bring out your talents and your unique gifts, and through that you'll see that he gave you even more than you even knew that you had. Keep going with that path. Be headstrong. Believe in yourself. believe in yourself even when you feel like it's extremely hard to believe in yourself. Like Russ, Ruth took a path, was unknown to her. She believed in herself so strongly, and she believed in her faith. She believed in Yiddishkeit. She believed in Ami, that she was going to take her on the path that was best suited for her. And she said, wherever you go, I will follow. She did it with intent and with strength and with patience and calm, with all the major challenges that she had in her life. And through that, she had Malchus, David HaMelech. Your path will lead you to that kind of greatness, as long as you really believe in yourself. So keep going.
Yes.
That would be my message.
Wow. Where do you see, I guess, the future of Jewish music headed, specifically for women, girls?
I'm a small piece in this beautiful puzzle. It's going to be mega. Yeah. I know that one day MSG will be filled with Jewish girls singing together. So thank you, Isha Ribo, for taking,
for scouting out, just making sure.
The territory, but wait for the girls. We're coming.
Right.
And I see the talent in the girls every single day. I meet new people and meet young girls, and I know that it's only a start. So I'm, and they're only with people like you. I want to just say thank you that believe in it so strongly. That's it. I'm starting a podcast, Bracha, and I want you to be one of my first guests. It's going to keep going. There's going to be a lot of people following your path.
It's good. I think, one of the most amazing things about the album that we did was, it was obviously the album itself, but I think also what it meant. I guess raising the bar of what Jewish music is for women, and both in terms of quality, but also just showing people like, this is it. This is your time. There's no reason you shouldn't be doing it. Proudly, loudly. And for you personally, what's next for Bracha Jaffe? What's coming up?
So a lot of new music is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Been really, really working over the last year on many different songs and cultivating how to release everything and bring it together. So I feel like I keep doing that. I keep giving on my social media platform or saying that music is coming, because we've been working on so much, and I'm just excited to really, really, really put it forward in the right way. And good shows. And yeah.
Cool. I guess we'll put after the show where everyone can find you and dates and social media stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say a huge thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
I know it's probably, I don't know, nerve-wracking or scary, especially being open and vulnerable. But I think it's kind of, it's another part in the puzzle and the I guess this story and this mission of giving women a voice. So thank you. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you for having me. Really, the honor was mine.